Welcome to Forge Down Under. Let's meet our judges. Shane Savage, Nick Graham, and our guest judge, Jeff Nordling. Let's get into it.
Welcome back, guys. Congratulations getting through to round 3. So you both are in the opportunity to win that cash $2,500. So the challenge today and tomorrow is to make a survival shovel.
Each episode has a theme and is made up of 3 rounds. Contestants receive a challenge that they must start in round 1 and finish in round 2. Each round is judged based on a rubric, and the final score from both round 1 and 2 combined will decide who moves on to round 3, where they will get a new and more advanced challenge. The winner of round 3 will become a Forge Down Under champion.
It's going to be very interesting to see how you approach it. Because when I think survival shovel, I think when you go out camping, you can't get any meat, so you have your baked beans that night and you get the bit that runs the next day, so you get your old shovel out to dig a hole. All right, extra props to anyone who puts any sort of toilet paper holder on their shovel.
Hey, when I think survival shovel, I'm thinking of something that's easy to carry with me and it does more than one job. You could dig a hole with it, you might be able to cut some wood with it, could be a knife, could be a spoon, could be a shovel, could be a lot of stuff.
So today you have 8 hours and tomorrow you have 8 hours. You have to get everything done within those 2 time frames. All right, your time starts now. Good luck, guys.
My plan for today is to make a shovel, and I'm going to try and make a foldable shovel. I made some sketches and we'll just see how it goes. I'll weld together some stuff, I'll put together some other stuff, and yeah, lots of parts, lots of work to do. It'll be fun.
Today I'm thinking about making a Russian survival spade. I'm not sure what they're specially called, but the Special Forces, sharp edges, rolled eye, handle, I don't know, we'll have a crack and see what happens.
I have one there, and then I have something here, and it'll go together, hopefully. And yeah, I have some ideas that will be obvious later.
Being very secretive. You don't like secrets? Doesn't want to tell me anything. All right. I guess I'll just have to wait and see then.
I've never done anything similar. I've never done something with moving parts. I haven't even made a folding knife or something. So it's quite a challenge to do something like this. So I hope it goes well.
A press is good for moving large amounts of steel quickly. and a power hammer of this size is good for refining and moving smaller amounts of material. Whilst these are not completely necessary, they do make the process faster and put less strain on the body.
How'd it go?
Never done it before, and I'll probably never do it again. That'll work. I can work with that. All I need is that negative to get that bit in the middle, and I can press that in a little.
So you're not having a top die, just bottom
No,
die?
I'm just, yeah, I'll put that on the bottom, I'll put my steel on top, and I'll start pressing with that in there.
And give it that ridge.
Give it that ridge, and then just try and work the sides without touching the ridge.
A good blacksmith will not let their tools limit them and will make tools to easily accomplish a specific task.
Five and a half hours left, so what, 3.5 hours into the first day?
I'm really impressed with how much they've gotten done in this small amount of time. It's going to leave them a lot of time to focus on the fit and finish later on.
I think we've given them too much time, honestly, with how much they've progressed in only 3.5 hours.
Well, I remember from the last episode this came into play where they made a lot of progress quickly, and once they realised they still had so much time left, they then overly complicated their builds just trying to fill out that extra time.
Yeah, well...
So this is where a solid plan comes into play. Did you plan it to take the full amount of time, or did you just plan to get something out quick?
I think I found a flaw. I may have gone too thin at the end of the round eye. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of weight at the end of that shovel on a real thin eye, and it comes down to a crush before it sprays out. So I'm thinking at the end of that handle, if we're hooking into something heavy, there could be something catastrophic at the end of that.
Oh, that's sick. I'm in love with that.
Hopefully it'll work.
Now I know why you wanted a bolt.
Yep.
You should have forged your own rivet, come on.
Could have done that. That was the backup
Rivet center
plan.
over there.
Yeah,
Yep.
would have worked.
I'm loving that.
And this one goes on the shaft. So this goes here. That there. And we can have the... What?
You see my
So
hat?
let's see.
I take it off.
Yeah, if it works, we'll see.
Can you see it? Exactly what I said was going to happen, happened. I blew it. Look.
What's happening?
Have a look at the end of the throat. It's already broken. Haven't even tried testing it yet. I'll have a blowout right there.
So it broke in the forge, did it?
Nah. Yes, it bent back and forth so many times. I got too thin here.
I heard you talking to Nick, and that's where it sheared off, did it?
Yeah.
And did you successfully forge weld it back together?
I haven't tried yet.
Where's the breakage?
Right here.
Yeah, that is quite thin.
Yeah, I thought that's what I'd done. Let's try again, eh?
Bending steel that's not at the correct temperature can cause a weak point, which can break the steel.
God damn it. I've done my shoulders the wrong way. When I realised I had to start a third time, it was simply I've isolated the wrong way. It's taken me 10 minutes to get to here. It's not a massive step back. Regroup, rethink, restructure, and start again.
I'd put a dirty big weld straight over the top of that and I'd fill it up as much as I could. Then I'd grind it away so that you never knew it was there, stick it back in the forge and pretend it didn't happen. All the structure is sort of carried by that centre bit where it's gone a little bit thin. I mean, it's only 10:45 and it doesn't need to be hardened up here. I just fill it up with big wire weld. Especially given the time constraint, like I wouldn't make it like that and never sell it, but if it had to get me through to the end of the competition, I would have rescued that.
Can you tell us what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, sure. I think the material is too thick.
Yep.
So with the round bit of the hammer, I'm drawing out material to get a bit more width and size.
I'm going to also give it a nice sort of spade because you've indented the middle of it.
Yeah.
I think that's looking really nice and proportionate. For 4.5 hours left, how do you think you're tracking?
I'm actually feeling confident now because this seems a little too small. I was worried that it might.
Yep.
And the other pieces are coming up also, so...
Yep, all right, I'll leave to it.
Yeah, excellent.
Just under 4 hours. We had Mike who had to start 3 times now.
Third time's the charm.
I think it was beneficial that it went smaller.
100%. I think he bit off way too much on that first heat, the first heat of steel that he attempted.
What I always say to students, right, when you're learning or just get your head around proportions, like that was a big bit of steel.
That's it, and I really almost like to say to him, like, you do realise that if you use this whole piece, it's still going to weigh roughly the same amount as how you started off. So you're going to have like a 6-7 kilo shovel if you use all that material. So yeah, I reckon that was the best thing that could have happened was having that failure early on so he could restart it.
It's good to see that he hasn't been demotivated and he's back into it.
If anything,
caught up really quickly.
If anything, I feel that it's actually motivated him because he saw how quickly he could make something in a short amount of time, and he didn't even hesitate to throw it in the bin. He just went, well, I made this real quick, I could remake it just as quick, let's go. And I like that. How's she looking?
A lot smaller than I started.
Well,
Smaller than the idea that I had, but a lot better than that first one. The first one had a lot of flaws. This one's looking a lot better.
I agree with you there. This looks clean and tidy. You know, straight away, I'm further
It's
look.
taking shape, but process failed, process learned. Let's have another crack.
found when I was first learning, having oversized handles makes it extremely difficult to shape your scales from it.
Yeah.
So as I was saying earlier, 5 to 10 mil is also a good opportunity. Sort of think about it, gives you a lot of leeway.
Yeah, I found that out hard way. Like when I started out, I oversized everything and just learned to hate making the handles because all I was just grinding into it. And now I try and split my scales to be as thin as possible and as close as I can be to my final dimension, so I've got the least amount of material to actually remove.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be able to sort of like visualize that sometimes.
Oh, it's extremely difficult. And it's the same thing I always say to students, right? One of the very, very first things you need to get is proportionality in design.
Yeah.
That is the most critical in my part. And that brings us into our sponsor, Knife Print. It's funny, actually, when I first got into knife making, I got onto knife print straight away. And I really believe it's one of the reasons why I got good so quickly. Not only was I good at taking on feedback and putting it on board, which is a different sort of discussion we can have, so some people aren't good at implementing feedback. But not only what Knife Print does is basically an online CAD program where it lets you fiddle around with little bits of knife design.
Yep.
So it gives you the really quick ability to see whether it's even worth you spending the time to make. And as we know with anything handmade, if you start with a good foundation, a good design, you're going to improve a lot better.
That's right. Once again, it's another thing I struggled with when I started out, and I think everyone struggles with it when they start making is how do knife?
Yeah.
Like, knives look a certain way, and when you get into it, you'll want to make this perfect knife that you've never seen before. And usually there's a reason why that knife doesn't exist, and it's because it doesn't work and it's not going to be good. But a lot of people spend that first 12 months of making sort of learning these lessons the hard way. But something as simple as a visual reference, like a repository of knife designs that you can pick from, modify, take inspiration from.
That's another good thing that they do, yeah. So if you're a knife design, you can actually have a repository where you can have a look at other people's designs, not only give you a good idea if that's the style you like, you could also copy that design and give it a go.
Yeah, to have all that in a database. Well, when I started, we never had anything like that. If we did, I would have used it straight away. And listening to you guys now, I want to get this.
Definitely give it a go.
And give it a go. I was always the same. Everything was too big, too thick. I spent a lot of time on the grinder, taking things down.
Yep.
Having something like Knife Print, the database, being able to go and change and alter the shapes,
just tweak
of
things
the blades and the handles and everything. It sounds great.
Check out knifeprint.com and use code FDU25 for 25% off your first purchase.
So what's your plan?
Just try and push some of this across at the minute, try and move it.
Drag some
That way,
material
yeah.
out so you get a bit more of a socket happening.
Yeah, see, I've got the start of the back that leads up into it this time, so
And that looks a lot neater as well, that transition from thin to
yeah.
thick.
And having that on the back should take a lot of the stress of that thinner section.
Yep.
Being cupped gives it more, a bit more rigidity.
Well, you're getting a lot more surface area in the curve than if it were just flat, so
That's right,
more
yeah.
material to share that load.
Glad I threw that other one away. I could have still been struggling with it.
That looks neat.
When a plan comes together. Rightio, so what we're going to have a go here at doing is a small forge weld. Where those two scarves come around, we're going to try and forge weld them together. I didn't clean it too well beforehand. I've given it a brush, given it a flux, see if we can get it up to heat. Waiting on this borax to start bubbling and boiling. That sounded good.
This is a bit nerve-wracking. If this falls apart, my whole design falls apart. So this one is mild steel, so the dents are pretty big. This one is a knife steel, so the dents aren't very big. So I need to do this one hot in order to get a really good dent that goes through, because these ones should protrude on this side, so they actually hook onto these holes. That's the point. So I will get I'll get it hooked up in each location.
We're just down to an hour left for the first day, and I think they're both on sort of clear footing at the moment. We got Mike, who's basically caught up from the 3 restarts.
Which I'm really impressed with. That's a monumentous effort in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I was a bit worried with the way that it was shaping the spade head, but I think it's coming up really nice and aesthetic at the moment. He just got enough length out of that head to look proportionate, which I was a little bit worried about.
It definitely feels more survival than camp, in my opinion, now, with those sort of hard edges. It's got a cool looking shape, in my opinion.
Patrick one's coming out really nice for a higher fit and finish. It's got a really... Yeah.
I honestly feel like I'm watching something be made that I would see, in a shop.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. If a handmade survival one where he's doing the full Fulton thing, very interesting how he does the handle, but as in mechanical wise, I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
It looks all good.
I'm keen to see how the detents work, how they feel
If they work,
hold them.
we'll see.
Yeah.
It sounds, in theory, from what he's explained to me, it should work really well. He's also got a nut which will tighten them in.
Yep.
So I don't see how it won't work. But, he's got 8 hours tomorrow, so I think he's just going to be doing a lot of fit and finish. So I think Mike will have a bit to catch up on. Are you killing a really big vampire?
Oh, well, not yet.
Yeah.
You never know what you might run into out there.
One minute and a half remaining, guys, for the first day. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tools down, guys. First day completed. Everyone bring your tools over here. How do you think it's gone, Patrick?
It's gone really well, I think. I'm very happy with what I've done.
Yeah.
So all the components are done, unless I decide to do even more, which we'll see tomorrow.
We were just talking about that, whether you're going to pin and weld it or weld and pin.
Yeah.
Is that something you didn't think about? Because I think you mentioned it this morning that you were pinning it.
Yeah. No, I was going to weld it, but then the welder was not my friend. So maybe a stick welder is better, which you also have, which is good.
Yep.
So I'll give it a shot tomorrow, because I think it would be better to weld it. And then I can always put a pin in just for safety, and looks nice too. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to see what you do tomorrow.
Me too.
So, Mike, 3 times a charm.
3 times a
Three
charm.
times a charm.
And even that one's getting
Very-
pretty thin. I'm panicking.
I still
We'll
think,
see how it
yeah,
goes.
I don't
It's
think
a
that's
good
too bad for a spade, honestly.
Might even try
Yeah.
on that one.
Very impressive that you did this all within 4 hours, basically. So you've caught up a lot.
Thank you.
How do you think you're tracking for time?
Oh, look, all I can do is hope for the best at this point. I'm already on my third.
Plan for the worst, hope for the best.
That's it.
Is that the way it goes?
I think so,
Yeah, I always forget.
Bite off more than you can chew. You can always spit some out.
Expect the worst, plan for the best.
Ah, that's the one.
Yeah.
No,
I always
really
plan
like
for the
that.
best, but expect the worst. So, is that half glass full or
Or is that
half
just
empty?
speaking from experience?
Isn't it better to just plan good?
Plan good. I plan for nothing to go wrong.
I just wing it and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's me also today.
Good job, Mike. I'm really looking forward to see how you finish that off tomorrow.
I'm
So,
looking
yeah.
forward to see how tomorrow goes too.
Right, welcome back, guys. Second day of round 3, which will be the last day of the competition. What are you going to do today, Patrick? You more so fit and finish? You're going to change your design up? What are you thinking?
I'll do some welding and fit and finish, and probably have to heat treat the blade also, just because of the welding and stuff. So I'll have stuff to do.
Mike, what about yourself?
Well, first things first, I've got to finish a shovel. I've
It's
got
looking like a
to
shovel.
see if I can get this shovel to the end without starting another one. That would be a trick. Yeah, no, look, I've got a couple of hours in the temper, so I might have a couple of hours up my sleeve just to have a play in your shop and come up with something pretty.
Yeah, no, looking forward to seeing what you're doing.
I wouldn't be surprised if you start a new one just for an excuse to play on the press some more.
Well, something pretty might involve that press yet.
All right, guys, your time starts now.
How's the Damascus going?
I have a
Nice.
stack. I haven't even welded them together yet.
How many layers?
More fingers than I got.
About that many.
About that many. We'll see how it goes.
Are you feeling pretty confident though?
Oh yeah, this shit's basic.
These-
It's only a little piece. We're not going far with it.
Bit over
Not
half hour
Yeah.
down.
Look, I've got 2 hours of temper time.
Yep.
So there ain't too much I can do in that other than a bit of handle shaping, but
Yep.
it's wood on a 40 grit will take no
That's
time
right.
at all. So
And you've got a bandsaw outside to hog the majority off it off as well.
I don't really like using bandsaws. I keep putting steel through them, and then the timber just bows, just
As long as,
grind
as
away.
long
As
you're
long
not
as you
putting
don't mind the
fingers-
dust.
As long as you're not putting fingers through it.
That's it. Right. Get some welding done, eh?
What do you got in there?
We got some kerosene in here, so
That's your Damascus billet.
yeah, this is the Damascus billet. So I've got me black marks, or one of the two colours. I don't know which was which, but I scribbled down the side on one so I know which is which.
Yep.
Now the idea with the kerosene is that it gets in between all the layers. So
Yeah,
it
right.
burns out your oxygen, takes out any of the decarb.
Okay.
It sort of, it helps it stick.
This is the connector bowl I found in the bin there,
Yep.
but it has Allen key, and there is
You need
one
a
here.
different size.
No, I need this one, but this one's from the workshop.
Yep.
So I want it to be a part of the tool. It needs to be part of the
I
tool.
like this. I
Yeah.
like this a lot.
So I tried welding on this, and
Yep.
it doesn't work because it's stainless
Stainless.
steel, and I don't have the gear for that, or we don't have here. So this nut isn't stainless, so I can weld that to the frame.
Yep.
Then I can use hopefully the Allen key to tighten it,
Yep.
so it has a good, nice fit and finish.
Can you TIG weld?
No, but I know one next door who can.
Because all the gear's there. You
I know.
could weld it.
Doesn't help.
It's one of those things where is it worth trying something new
Yeah,
or sticking to what you know?
sticking to something I will try.
Yep.
Doesn't mean I know it.
Just fake it till you make it, that's all you need.
Yeah.
But how's
So grinding.
grinding
Make
up?
an Allen key.
Oh, it looks
How
like
hard
you...
can it be?
Not... This is the borax, same stuff we use in our washing at home, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so what's
Borax
this going to
salt.
do?
So what the borax salt does is if you watch it, it'll bubble, it'll boil, and it'll liquefy. Turns
Yeah.
into like a liquid glass.
Yeah.
Gets in between all of the layers and dislodges any bits of scale that might be in there.
Almost acts like a cocoon and stops
That's
any
it.
oxygen
Stops
being
the
able to
oxygen
penetrate.
getting in. You know, like water, you know, you
Yeah.
pour the liquid in, there's no air in there, same
Yeah.
thing. But when you squash it, all of that'll squirt out the sides and pull out all the little bits of
what
shit.
method do you adhere to with your borax? So you are just enough is enough, or go over the top like?
If you've got a kilo of borax, just use a kilo of borax. It's cheap as shit.
Yep.
It's cheap as shit. The more the merrier.
Yep.
Eventually, there'll be so much borax in the bottom of your forge that you barely need to put any left on it.
And it almost puts a hole in the floor.
I see that in the back of this
Yeah.
one. Yeah, look.
I
Forges
used
are
to-
a sacrificial, like there's consumables and the
100%.
refractory cement just needs to be
I
changed.
adhere to both sort of theories of it. If I'm doing just simple, basic things and it's not complicated, I just put on enough.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing something and
Look.
I need it to work,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost, like, it's not glue, but it's better to overdo it than underdo it.
If I buy that steel from one of the online stores, I probably just put about $80 worth of
Yes.
steel in that forge. I don't want it to fall apart in the first weld because I might have just well taken $80,
So
thrown it in and
With
got
Damascus,
inside.
it's all down to your preparation. It's
Yep.
really not worth taking these shortcuts
Nah.
if you want it to work out, okay?
Pretty certain these welds worked right. So the first 3 welds, we press across the grain, like with the grain. Squash them down, make sure they stick. And when we flip it on the side and squash this way, now all the lines that we've got get fatter. So as the lines, if the welds have stuck, they just squash even. If they open, well, you know the welds have failed, but yeah, I'm pretty certain these have worked well.
This is a good example of how not to weld. Of course, I'm definitely not a welder, but hopefully it sticks together anyway. I will make it a bit tidier, hopefully.
Mike, mate, 6 hours left and you decided to have a go at Mosaic Damascus.
What have I got to lose, eh?
The show.
Well,
Look, if you're going to go out, you
Mate.
go out in a big way.
look, just being here, mate, is winning enough. This is awesome. Like,
it's a bit
I'm
of
having
fun.
so much fun. Like,
Can you give us a little bit of explanation of what Mosaic Damascus pattern you're going for and why you've done it that way? Because you forge welded the billet, you drew it out.
So I've forge welded the billet,
Yep.
I've squashed it into the C's. I hope. I forgot to put a marker on my peg so I knew which way it was going. I hope I got it right. If not, it's just going to be some kind of random mosaic.
So it's either mosaic or random pattern.
So
Nothing wrong with either.
I think roughly 24 bits to start with, so 24 layers. I've cut that into 6 pieces, so 24 by 6 is 130 or something, 125,
I'm no
whatever.
good at maths.
Me neither. So I've squashed that into the W's, stacked it 6 times. I'm hoping to draw that out into 4 15 mil minimum, hopefully closer to 20. And then cut that into 4 and just 2 by 2 the 4, hopefully just in a cross.
Oh, so you're going again for another stack?
Yeah, it's another stack. Yeah, that's just getting my layer count up. Something pretty, you know, like no point bothering with like 8 layers, eh?
Well,
maybe
you're
a few
reaching for
years
the
back.
stars. So do you think you're going to be able to pull it off in the time frame?
No chance. I'm up to my last weld. It was so hot that it almost welded to the top die of the press. I just give it a little click to break free. I dropped it. It slid straight off the back of the press and... Oh no! Oh no! It's just gone down the back, man.
Don't stress.
What's down there? Where's your cover?
Nothing. Oi, there's nothing down there. Don't stress. People get hurt when people
Thanks
rush
again,
and
eh?
panic.
No. Just if it was important.
So it sits on a steel pallet. So nothing will actually touch
If
the
that
ground.
happened in my shop, I'd have about 30 seconds before flamage.
I panicked.
And is he treated? It's leaf spring or sub 9?
Yep.
And it fits pretty good. Fits better than this one
I was
actually.
about to say, I've had worse fitting Allen keys.
Yeah. Have a go.
Oh, that's nothing to be sneezed at, my friend. That is solid.
I'm very happy with that.
You should be.
Four hours left of the final day. I think Patrick's tracking along really well. I think Mike is really biting off more than he can chew, getting this Mosaic Damascus pummel going. 4 hours left. I believe he's at least 3 hours, an hour overdue for what he expected to be.
With Patrick, he has just been consistent from start to this point with how he's been working, he's methodical, he's made a plan, he's followed it.
Yeah.
And I just asked him briefly before how he thought he was tracking, and he's just confident as. He's cool as a cucumber, you can't really buster him at this stage. He would have to have something go like really bad for him to
It's
be in
exactly
trouble.
what I normally recommend to students. Work with purpose without stressing. Think ahead, do it, work with purpose, and then you can generally work along really well.
That's it. And this is something that he himself has admitted he's never attempted before, but he's trying to use the techniques and procedures that he's used to do this new type of project, and it shows in how it's coming together with how little mistakes or do-overs he's had to take.
Oh yeah.
hitting from the top, you're using the weight of the head, sort of almost like an anvil. So the natural weight of it shimmies down every time you hit. Hitting the other way, if you put it on something and hit, better chance of blowing stuff out.
Are you having issues with it getting friction fit? Not winding up?
I really want the friction fit,
Yeah.
but it has to go through the holes.
So that's what you're trying to do. Good.
Yeah, if I just get in once, I think I'm all good. It works.
Once that's pinned and glued and set for a few minutes, I should just be able to
Log
hog
into
it
it.
straight
Yep.
onto the grinder, make a nice round top. So I even marked T in there to make sure I knew which the
Yep.
top was.
So it looks like you got a lot to still do, but realistically you don't, do you?
Well, I got 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It still
And-
looks like there's stuff to do, but you don't really.
I know you kept saying you might have given us too much time. I don't think I could have done what I'm doing today without the time you've given us.
But you wouldn't have gone the extra step had you not had
No,
a bit
I
extra
wouldn't
time.
have. But
yeah.
on the same against my competition, without something pretty, I've got no chance.
You're pretty, I mean, that'll work. The bloke handing the shovel,
Yeah. All right, I'll keep working, eh?
yeah.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
The test etch was promising, that's to say the least.
It was, no, that thing looked beautiful.
Now it's unhardened. I've never etched unhardened
Yep.
Damascus.
Yep.
I don't know the outcome. I've never done it, so I wouldn't
see.
know. We'll see
see.
what happens.
We'll see.
But just for a knob at the end, it doesn't need to be hardened.
Mate, I think with
It's brought
weight-
the
the weight
balance.
of that-
It's brought the balance right up to a good spot.
like it's pretty much right there. That's nice.
It's a good spot.
1 hour remaining, guys. 1 hour. Tools down at 1 hour. So, Nick, we're an hour in. Who do you think's in the lead?
It's really hard to tell. Like, earlier on, they seemed like they were so far apart in their build. And then all of a sudden, they just kind of were doing the same thing at the same time. They were both keen and pinned. I know there's still some etching that needs to happen.
Oh, no.
Looks like we've had a catastrophe.
Detemper or overgrind?
Did we make a mistake or a smaller knife?
Oh, you nicked the bottom of it. Oh. All right, you can recover from that.
I got now to retemper.
You're right. Basically, they both are sort of doing the same thing at the same time, but differently.
Yeah.
As we talked about yesterday and today, it's interesting to see the different sort of build processes and how people approach things.
And as we just saw, this is the point in time where small mistakes can cost you the competition.
They're
really
coming
can.
out now,
You know,
yeah.
at the beginning, you can recover. I mean, we saw Mike, he restarted 3 times and it's still hanging in solid, but one little slip.
So you having issues with etching, or?
Yeah, it's unhardened. It's not etching very well.
Ooh.
It's unhardened. I've never tried etching unhardened Damascus.
But you got that
never
etch.
tried,
You got that
so-
etch last time in like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
It's because it was hot, I'm guessing.
I don't know.
Maybe just try to get the torch out and heat it up and then etch it.
You're right. We looked in there and it was straight off the grinder, hot.
Yeah.
So that might be the trick.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Three minutes. 3 minutes. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tools down, guys. Congratulations.
Fantastic.
Testing to see if this will dig. It will dig. First test is to see if this will dig. It will dig.
This is destruction test number 1. to see if you can safely and effectively process firewood in a survival or camping situation. Good work, no damage at all. Pretty effectively split that firewood. This is destruction test number 1 to see if this shovel can safely and effectively split and process firewood in a camp or survival situation. Looks like it effectively split the firewood. Suffered no damage. Good work.
Contestants, congratulations on getting through to this component, which is a second destruction test. It was good to see that you had no damage on this one. The final test will be the beam test. I'm sure everyone wants to know what that is. If it can cut wood, it can cut beans. Good job, no damage.
Thank you.
Right, Patrick, we're up to your destruction test.
Yes.
Bean test, how do you think you're going to go?
Pretty good.
All right,
Go
let's
for
see.
it.
If it can cut wood, it can cut beans.
It cut wood and beans.
Good job.
Hey, at least it was a consistent test.
Nice.
It will
Well
cut beans.
Nice.
Congratulations, guys. You both survived the final cut test, which is henceforth called the bean test. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thanks.
All right, guys, last day done. Destruction testing done. They both survived perfectly. I think this is going to be a bit hard to judge. Looking forward to see what you guys and which way you go.
Yeah, definitely. They've both done very, very well. I'm quite impressed with the finished articles for both of them. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Jeff. Watching these guys work, they took such different approaches to it, and it shows in the finished product. And like one's definitely performed differently than the other, but one's the aesthetic and functionality is its sort of features. So it'll be hard judging the two of them.
Yeah.
All right, guys, final part of the competition, judging. So before we get into judging, Mike, can you explain to us why your material meets the camping theme?
I wouldn't go camping without it. You can chop a wood, you can dig a hole, you can bludgeon a wallaby if you had to in a survival situation, you can scale a fish. If you're down to it, you could even try cooking an egg on her. I wouldn't go camping without one.
All right, Patrick, can you explain to us why you believe yours has met the theme?
Yes, sure. It's easy to dig a hole with it, as we saw earlier, and if the ground is really hard, you can use a pick and you can get a hole in that too, and that's basically what I will use it for. If you want to, you can chop some firewood, obviously, but yeah.
Okay.
I'd also bring a knife, so it doesn't have to be super sharp.
All right. How do you think you're going to go in judging?
Hopefully good.
Are you worried about anything?
No, it's still in one piece after the chopping, so that's the thing I was most worried about.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Mike, before we get into judging, is there anything, how do you think you're going to go, and are you worried about anything?
She looks ugly. There's no fit and finish on it at all. There's flaws in there that in my shop at home I wouldn't let pass, but time restraints, it is what it is. Forgot to neutralise the acid last night.
Yeah, you spent all the time on the mosaic
All
pummel,
the
and
time
then
on
you
that
forgot
mosaic, and it was just all invisible because I forgot to neutralise.
Yep.
Felt pretty let down when I saw that.
All right, well, we're going to get into judging. Jeff, I'm going to start with you. So can
Sure.
you give Mike some feedback, please?
Sure can. It's a beast. feels great in the hand. Really feels like it just wants to go to work. Love the handle. Pity about the mosaic, but can be fixed later on.
Yeah.
I think your shovel head's a little bit too small though. It's not really proportioned.
No.
But otherwise, good job. I've given you an overall score of 21 out of 25.
Awesome.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Mike,
Yes.
I absolutely love what you've done. It definitely, in my opinion, meets a camping shovel. If not, it's gone a little bit above and beyond and sort of can be like a sort of combat-ish sort of shovel. As you saw, it was just good to stab with. Sort of reminds me of a, as I was saying yesterday, a harpoon.
Yeah, right.
Like, it cuts, it does the beam test. A few things, as you mentioned, is the proportionality of the blade, which we did discuss on day one, but we sort of found out you couldn't.
By shovel number 3, it was make something that made requirements. The bit that I had to start with was going to be a big shovel, but lack of process and knowledge in the way it fell apart. I grabbed another bit. I did it backwards. I grabbed another smaller bit again, and that's what I wound
That's
up
the way
with.
it goes in a competition environment. It was really good that you kept going on, and
It's great fun. Never give up.
Even
eh?
attempted a Mosaic Damascus pummel, which, if it etched out well, would it look really good. So,
yeah.
Good work.
Look good out the etch, that's for certain.
That's exactly it. So I gave you a total score of 19 out of 25.
Awesome.
Good work, mate.
Thank you very much.
I loved watching you work over the past couple of days, like both your successes and failures. Like watching you change your process, learn from the mistakes, and then just overcome all your adversities to make the piece. It was, really entertaining to watch. The Mosaic Damascus end pommel, that was such a nice touch. I loved that. And the way you fitted it on as well is super secure. It's definitely a useful impact part of it. So it's not just an aesthetic piece. True, your fit and finish is lacking a little bit.
Yeah.
But in saying that, as much as I'd have to spend a bit more energy carrying it around because how big it is, I would not be worried about breaking it. Okay? Very, very effective tool.
Thank you.
So for all those reasons, I gave you a total score of 20.
Lots more than I think it deserves anyway.
No,
Great work.
You've done really well, Mike. Don't be so hard on yourself. It was 2 8-hour days.
Oh, dude.
And you've never
Plus
made a shovel before, both of
Yeah.
you, so good work. So, Patrick, we're going to move straight into your feedback. Jeff?
Okay, Patrick. I love what you've done with the handle. The way that the faceting on the rear of it all converged together in that almost Milner sort of style. Love it. Looks fantastic. The mechanism works really, really well. The only thing that I have criticism against it is the welds. I was really worried that they were going to let go in the testing. They have held on, but yeah, needs a bit cleaning up. Otherwise, I gave you a score of 21 out of 25. So, good work.
Thank you. Patrick, I love what you've done. I personally thought you may have bitten off more than you can chew, but it does show that if you plan and work with the process, you can put it in action. It was really, really good work to see that you tried something so complex, foldable, moving parts, and as we saw, it worked really well in the destruction test. Yeah. So very happy with what you've done. Proportionality, I like it. My feedback is, again, the welds. Again, not much you could have done in the time constraints. A little bit of unalignment in the shovel head, which we discussed, and this. I know that you went out and made your own Allen key to tighten it up. Without these, it would have been a good spot. At the moment, it's just hard to use the back of it, but we sort of understand why you went with that direction. But aesthetically, I like it, but fit for purpose, not really. So, ultimately, I gave you a total score of 24 out of 25. So
Well
good
done.
job, Patrick.
Good job.
Thank you very much, sir.
This thing is cool as hell. And I'm not going to lie, when you explained to me on the first day what you were doing and how you were doing it, I wasn't sure whether or not it was going to work or whether you were going to be able to pull it off. I'd seen them in shops before, knew how they worked, and I was like, that's a complicated build. You stayed head down and bum up the whole time. You really, really focused hard. A couple of the pieces around here, like the weld, as Shane just said, could use a bit of work, but in the time constraint, you pulled it off. And it made it through all the destruction tests. It performed flawlessly. Another thing as well is it's a little bit stiff operating, but I'm sure with use that'd loosen up. And if got too loose, the key would fix that up as well. Perfect little addition. I don't have too much of a problem with the shape because for what the shovel is, I don't think you'd be sort of using the back of it anyway. I'd be more worried about over time it loosening and falling out. But it's honestly hard to try to find flaws in it. And for those reasons, I gave you a score of 24. Good job.
All right, guys, we're not going to drag it out any further. We're going to get right in to see who the winner of Forged and Under episode 2 and have the bragging rights be Australia's second Forged and Under winner. So let's have a look and see who got across the line. So Mike, you had a total score of 60.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, you have a total score of 69 and you are the episode 2 winner of Forged and Under.
Well
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good job, mate.
Thank you,
well
sir.
done. Very deserving.
So, how do you feel?
I feel excellent. I'm very happy.
Yep.
So you should.
It was a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been good fun to be here.
Super impressed that you tried to do that because it could have just went wrong so many times.
Yeah.
It shows, you know, how much planning and skill you have. So congratulations. Thank you. Mike, again, you did really, really well. When it comes to time constraints, we know how they go.
Yeah, look, first time I'd ever tried anything like it, you live and learn.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I don't know how I would have went if I got told I need to make a shovel in 16 hours. I would have been a lot more stressed than you guys. So, good job.
It was awesome being here. Thanks. Humbled. I don't care. I didn't win, man. To be honest, I was going to split up the money between the 3 of us, well, the 4 of us anyway. The pirate's booty. Captain gets half. First mate takes a quarter. The rest is split between the crew. So there'd be Patron, there'd be Tristan. So I was going to give it all back to yous anyway, man. Like the money and winning meant nothing to me. I just dig being here in your shop. I really appreciate it.
When I was announced the winner, it was a super great feeling because, yeah, that's why I came, to try and be the winner. And I've done my best and I succeeded. Can't be happier.
A big shout out to our awesome Patreons for helping support the show.